Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners have been released, while Israel expresses concern over the weakened condition of those who were held captive. 3 Israeli hostages were released from Gaza during the 5th exchange between Israel and Hamas on Saturday, raising concerns in Israel about their condition. Ohad Ben Ami, Eli Sharabi, and Or Levy, who were captured during the October 7th Hamas attack, were handed over to the Red Cross in Deir al-Balah after 491 days in captivity. Unlike the chaotic scenes of previous releases, this transfer was orderly, but the hostages appeared thin and pale as they stepped onto a makeshift stage. Many Palestinian prisoners released earlier in the ceasefire also showed signs of poor health. Both Ami and Sharabi wore brown clothing and spoke in Hebrew before being escorted to Red Cross vehicles for their return to Israel. The Red Cross facilitated the transfer of hostages to the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, in Gaza, who then brought them back to Israel for medical evaluation. The visuals from Saturday's handover have sparked outrage in Israel, with Levy, released due to his humanitarian status, looking especially weak. The Israeli government labeled the scenes as shocking and promised to take action, while the Hostages and Missing Families Forum expressed concern over the unsettling appearances of the freed hostages. A seasoned Israeli negotiator, who has become a peace advocate, expressed on Saturday that the frail appearance of 3 Israelis evokes memories of survivors from Nazi concentration camps for many in Israel. Gershon Baskin stated that witnessing the 3 hostages, reminiscent of those liberated from World War II camps, should urge everyone to hasten the release of all hostages. Meanwhile, Einav Zangacher, the mother of Matan Zangacher, a 25-year-old still captured in Gaza, criticized Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for prolonging his visit to Washington instead of taking more action to secure her son's freedom. In a heartfelt video, she declared, "The 3 who returned today are Holocaust survivors. My Matan is going through a Holocaust." Ben Ami, 56, and Sharabi, 52, were abducted from their homes in Kibbutz Be'eri, located roughly 4 kilometers (2.5 miles) from the Gaza border. On the same day, Ben Ami's wife, Raz, was also captured but was released during a brief truce in November 2023. Tragically, Sharabi lost his wife and daughters in the October 7th attack, and it remains uncertain if he is aware of their deaths. His brother, Yossi, who was also taken captive, died in Gaza, with his body still there, as reported by the Israeli military. Meanwhile, Levy, 34, was kidnapped while attending the Nova Music Festival on October 7th, and his wife Einav was killed in the assault. He has a 3-year-old son eagerly awaiting his return to Israel. Hamas has released 16 Israeli hostages as part of the initial phase of a ceasefire agreement, with a total of 33 expected to be freed in stages. The Israeli government reports that 8 of these hostages are deceased. After the release of 3 hostages on Saturday, Hamas and its allies still retain 73 individuals taken from Israel on October 7, 2023, out of an original 251. Additionally, 3 hostages captured in 2014 remain in a related development. Israel is set to release 183 Palestinians on Saturday. Some of these individuals were transferred from Ofer prison in the occupied West Bank to Ramallah, where footage showed some appearing frail, with one needing assistance to walk. The Israeli prison system has faced criticism for allegedly providing minimal food to Palestinian prisoners, a policy reportedly implemented by former National Security Minister Ben-Gvir last year. In remarks made in April 2024, Gvir expressed a harsh stance on Palestinian prisoners, suggesting they should be killed with a shot to the head, and advocated for a bill in the Israeli Knesset to permit executions. He added that until such measures are enacted, the prisoners would receive only minimal food for survival, showing indifference to their plight. In October, the Israeli Supreme Court mandated that the conditions at the infamous SD T-Man detention center must align with Israeli law. CNN has sought comments from Israel's prison authorities regarding this situation. On Saturday, the Palestine Red Crescent reported that 7 prisoners were released and transported from Red Cross buses to hospitals for medical care. Among those expected to be released, 18 are serving life sentences, while 54 have shorter sentences, and 111 were detained in Gaza following the events of October 7th, according to a statement from Hamas, although the specific charges against the 111 remain unclear. On October 7th, Palestinian militants not only took hostages, but also caused the deaths of over 1,200 individuals. In response, Israeli airstrikes on Gaza have resulted in more than 45,000 fatalities, leaving much of the area in ruins and creating a dire humanitarian crisis for those who remain. The conflict has also extended beyond Gaza, involving Israel and tensions with Iran, a major supporter of Hamas, as well as its allies like Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen. The future of the ceasefire and hostage agreement between Israel and Hamas remains uncertain. Ongoing discussions about extending the Gaza ceasefire, set to end on March 1st, are currently in jeopardy. Netanyahu remains cautious about the second phase of the agreement, which involves the complete withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza and the return of remaining hostages. His finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, has threatened to resign if the ceasefire persists. Adding to the tension, U.S. President Donald Trump suggested on Tuesday that the U.S. should take over Gaza, relocate its residents, and redevelop the area, a proposal that was met with approval from Israeli far-right officials but faced backlash from Hamas. Internationally, his remarks were condemned, with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer emphasizing the need for Palestinians to return home, while France's foreign ministry opposed any forced displacement. A Hamas representative criticized Trump's idea as a potential source of chaos, asserting that the people of Gaza will resist such plans and calling for an end to occupation rather than expulsion.